Have you ever had that feeling? The unnerving sensation that you're constantly being watched, that your every move is under scrutiny. It's a chilling feeling that can crawl under your skin. Our story today begins with Garrett, an ordinary college student whose quiet life was turned upside down by his eerie, silent neighbor, an old woman who just stared. At first, it was just an unsettling gaze, but soon, things started to feel deeply wrong. This old woman would appear wherever Garrett went, in the hallway, by the mailboxes, even glimpsed through windows. She never spoke. Her face was a blank mask, her eyes vacant yet intensely focused, as if staring right through him, into his very soul. Garrett was deeply unnerved. He tried avoiding her, even mustered the courage to ask if something was wrong, but was met only with silence, a heavy, persistent, silent stare. Everywhere he went, it felt like her eyes were following him. But it didn't stop at staring. The old woman's behavior began to escalate, appearing closer to Garrett's apartment. The most terrifying were the late nights. Garrett would hear faint noises outside his door, footsteps perhaps, or the rustle of fabric. Peeking through the peephole with trembling hands, he'd sometimes see a fleeting shadow, or just an empty, ominous hallway. He felt his personal space was being violated, even starting to suspect, had someone been inside his room while he was out? This feeling of unseen intrusion kept him awake at night, paranoia wrapping around him like vines. Then came the night that shattered everything. It was unnervingly quiet, but Garrett felt something was deeply wrong inside his apartment. A powerful intuition led him to check every corner. Finally, mustering his courage, he opened his closet door and saw an unforgettable sight. The old woman, huddled inside his closet. She was clutching a knife, its blade glinting. But in stark, bizarre contrast to this obvious threat, her face held no malice. Instead, it was contorted in absolute sheer terror. Her eyes were wide, her body trembling, and her other hand seemed to be frantically pointing towards the air vent above his head, incoherent whimpers escaping her lips. But in his own blind panic, all Garrett saw was the knife, the immediate danger. Believing she was about to attack, a frantic struggle ensued. The police arrived quickly. When the property manager appeared and offered a seemingly reasonable explanation, the old woman was her mentally ill sister. Prone to wandering and odd but harmless behavior, it seemed to close the case. Garrett felt a wave of relief, yet the image of her terrified eyes and her pointing gesture lingered, a persistent splinter of doubt in his mind. Regardless, he couldn't stay there anymore. Moving out felt like his only option for peace. He thought he was finally escaping the nightmare. The true nightmare, however, was only revealed after he left. Sometime later, the police, perhaps due to a new tenant's report or a routine inspection, conducted a thorough search of Garrett's former apartment building. Inside the ventilation system, they uncovered a chilling secret. The ducts had been modified, riddled with peepholes, and contained a hidden observation post. A hidden predator, quite possibly that seemingly friendly roommate, or someone with easy access, had been using it like a spider in a web, watching the residents' every move. Even more horrific, deeper within the vents, police found the remains of multiple missing victims. The real terror had been there all along, hiding within the very walls, breathing the same air as Garrett, lurking just beneath the surface of everyday life. Only then did the truth behind the old woman's strange behavior become horrifyingly clear. Her constant staring wasn't malice, it was vigilance against the devil in the walls, perhaps fear for Garrett. Her lurking was likely failed attempts to warn him without being detected herself. Breaking into his closet was her final, desperate act of warning, pointing directly at the source of the danger, the vents. The knife? Perhaps for self-defense, or maybe to indicate something specific. And the terror on her face? It was genuine, raw fear of the killer hidden right there, committing atrocities in the ventilation system. The tragic irony is gut-wrenching. In his fear, Garrett had attacked the only person trying to save him. How often do we, blinded by fear and prejudice, miss the silent warnings right in front of us?